Guys, welcome back to the show. For those of you who are new, my name is Paul. This is going to be the next episode in this storage shed that we're building. We're calling this the Doghouse series. Today we are going to lay out the columns, mark them, cut them, build our walls, and get them stood up, all that kind of good stuff. If you guys are interested in designing a Barndominium, shop, garage, any of that stuff, reach out to us and we can help you with that. Also, for you self-builders, we have a Patreon group that is designed just for you. It's a great community of other self-builders. We do lives, we answer your questions, and you get to run stuff off of other self-builders and share your journey on a share your build part of our Patreon group. So check that out. Let's go ahead and jump into the show. Alright guys, real quick, we're going to start cutting and preparing these 6x6 posts. And I'm going to go with a 10-foot overhead door for this part that I'm going to close in. So I want a minimum 11'6" ceiling. That gives me plenty of room and actually makes it about perfect where my tracks will kind of hug the ceiling. And most of my posts will work for that. So went around, I got all my brackets marked. So I'm gonna start, I got my storyboard template made. So now I'm gonna start marking these all out, cutting them, and laying them in place. Gosh, it's like 11 o'clock. Wanted to be out here at like 9:30, 10. It's always stuff that just comes up, takes up your time, keeps you from getting stuff done. Somebody left lights on in my wife's car, so it's dead. Got that charging. Bunch of other stuff I had to take care of, but got an inch of snow, so we gotta get some snow off the lumber down here. Our post, I should say, all of our lumber is covered. But I'm gonna try to frame up this back wall here. I have a meeting at 12:30, so I have like, I don't know, hour and 15 minutes to work on this. We'll see what we can't get done. But I'm thankful that I'm physically capable of doing this. So I'm gonna go get my lumber, we'll get at it. Alright guys, so yesterday I prepared all the sidewall posts, and I'll just kind of run you through kind of what I did. So, got these all jacked up because I got a bracket in the way for a separating wall there, and then there's a bracket on the end wall. So I'm gonna try to do this a little bit different. So I got all these set up at an angle so I can build this whole thing. You can see this line right here. That is 7 inches up from that line right there. So that's my 2 inches of insulation and 5 inches of concrete. If I choose to do that, I'll have that ability. I don't know if I'll ever put concrete in here, but I'm preparing it like I will. This line right here is 7/16. So this bracket was 7/16 low. So I added 7/16 to the post, marked a line, added my 7 inches. That gives me to the finished floor. Then from that line to the bottom heel of the truss is my sidewall height. So in my case, it's 11 feet 6 inches. So 37 inches from this line is the center of my wainscot board. And then I just pulled 24s from there. Right here is where the heel of my truss will sit. I'm not 100% sure what the heel height is going to be. It's going to be somewhere between probably 9 and 12 inches. So I just made these 12, and then I can cut them off if I need to. And then I just notched 1.5 inches out of this post so that my truss can sit in here and bear on this post. So on each of these, the notch is on the same side. That way I can stay on my 8 foot on center. And the reason I chose that side is because of this wall right here. I'll show you that later. And then my 2 end ones, I marked the heel of my truss, but I don't have to notch it because it's gonna get face nailed to this. So I'm using reclaimed 6x6 posts. So problem with 6x6 posts is they warped. A couple years ago, I took a couple buildings down. Posts were rotted off, but I was able to salvage enough that I can make it work for this building. So the thing I needed to do is I needed to pick the straightest ones for the corners. So I needed them to be straight this way and this way. So I've got those at my corners. Then on these ones in the middle, if there's any curve to this post, I wanted it here. And then I wanted the straightest part this way, so when I stand the wall, it'll look nice and straight. So I was able to do that. I think we're gonna end up with a really nice straight wall. So now I'm going to go ahead, lay out all my girts, nail them on. I'm gonna try to lift this in just 2 sections. So I'll lift those 4 together and these 3 together. So we're gonna go ahead and lay out all our girts and to start nailing them on. What I'll do is I'll start at this end, measure, I'll secure all of these with screws so they can't move. I just line my line up with the edge of these, and then I'll measure from the bottom of that one to the bottom of this one, match it at the top, and we just work our way across. And I make sure that my bottom dimension all the way across is exactly the same as the top. That way when I stand this wall, I can make it perfectly plumb. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna start getting these girts out and getting them nailed on. I'm pumped. All right, good morning, guys. So yesterday I worked for a couple hours, got that wall up. And so I'm sure a lot of you are doing this like me. Some of you are probably like, well, you're a builder, you have all this time. Well, I have, my main focus is other people's stuff, so my stuff gets put on the side. So in the same way that I'm doing this, you're gonna have to do it. And I'm breaking this up into small little chunks. So my goal today, I have about 4 hours, is to build this end wall and the other end wall and get them stood up. So hopefully I can do that. We're going to see what we can do, but I'm breaking this into manageable goals so that I can achieve something each time I come out here. So I've got these 2 columns cut down. I left them a little long. I'm not 100% sure what these trusses are going to end up, because I am going to redo some of them. So I want to make sure my 6x6s were long enough, so I'll just cut them off the chainsaw once I get my trusses up. But I'm gonna go ahead and lay out my boards, get this wall stood, and then I'll cut and prepare my other columns for the other side, get that stood, and we'll go from there. We'll see what time it is when I get that done. Alright, that did not take too long, considering that I filmed the whole thing. If you're not doing that, it takes considerably less amount of time. So, a couple things is, one, I had taken all my my batter boards down, so I didn't have string lines. So what I do to line these up is I just put a little block, put a screw into a block, string line around, and then I can set my posts off that string line the same amount. Then I'll measure down across to get my exact 48. The next thing is I'm going to build this wall, so I have to get the measurements on my brackets so I can make my columns. And look at that. That never happens. I have 2 that are at 0. So what that means is I have to add nothing to the bottom of these. I shouldn't call them columns. These are 6x6 posts. I just never use 6x6 posts, so probably gonna call them columns. So I'm gonna get 2 of those cut, and then we'll lay that wall out, get it put up, and I'll have reached my goal for the day. All right, so getting long ones that are straight enough is pretty difficult. This one right here, I'm gonna start from that end because it's got a little kick on this end, so I'm hoping that I can cut most of that off. So I want it the straightest part to be on the out, so the outside of the wall is nice and straight, and then if there's any curve, it can be on the inside, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna, hopefully, it looks like I have enough that is straight for the outside edge of the building. If that makes sense, it's hard to explain. Maybe I can explain to one when it's up, but I'm gonna use that one and that one. So this one, I'm gonna start from that end. This one, I'm gonna start from this end. Change my mind which one I'm going to use. All right, guys, it is 10:30. I got out here about 10 o'clock. And today's task is my other side wall. Get it all framed up. I can't put it all up because I'm not 100% sure if I can reach the trusses up over the top. I think I can, which I'll do some testing. If I can, I'll put the whole wall up. But I had to get these headers apart. There was a triple 2x12 that I had to get separated, and then an LVL and a 2x12 laminated together, and another LVL. So it took me about half hour, 45 minutes to get those all separated, which I'm not gonna lie, it sucked. But now I have all my header material, and this is probably $300 or $400 worth of boards. These two LVLs would probably be $100 and something a piece alone. So we got 4 2x12s that are like 19 feet, and then I have 2 11 7/8 LVLs that are around 19 feet. So what I can do is I can use, I'll pair up the 2x12s together, and then I can use the LVLs for the garage door openings. I'll just have to notch the columns like a 1/4 inch so they sit flush with all the girts. But yeah, that sucked, but I got it done, and now I can go down there and start laying out that wall. Alright guys, I got this first bay up, which is just going to be open. I'm going to use it for just dry storage, store some firewood, store my skid steer attachments, just so they're out of the weather. But now that I got this up here, I kind of checked with my skid steer to see if I'd be able to reach, and I don't think I'm going to be able to reach, so I'm going to have to leave that open, and then take the trusses through and set them up. So I guess now I have the tedious task of getting all these trusses prepared. I got to make 2 end trusses and get all those trusses prepared. So I'm going to do that now. Hopefully I can get that done today. It is going to take a while. It's going to be kind of tedious, but that's where I'm at, and I got to get it done. So that's what we're going to do. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap in today's video. The next one, I'm going to finish building out this wall and getting the rest of the getting the trusses all up. So depending on the size of your building and all that's going to depend on how much of your walls you can build, because you always have to have a way to get your trusses in there unless you have a big telehandler. I do not, so I have to leave spots open to be able to get that done. But as always, we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you on the next video.